Hi guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Another quick week news recap of all major MMO news and announcements of the week ending December 17th, 2018. This is episode number 178 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from Pearl Abyss regarding Black Desert Online. The game's Archer class officially launched this last week, and to celebrate the occasion, there's an Archer level up event going on right now, along with a bunch of other winter-themed events. And in related Pearl Abyss news, the company also closed their previously announced CCP acquisition, meaning it's a done deal now. The company's also moving to set up their first office in North America at Manhattan Beach in California, and work on bringing more games to the West because of that. They actually have a new MMORPG in development, along with 2 MMOFPS games and a bunch of other separate mobile games too, so there's a lot in the pipeline from Pearl Abyss. Next up, in related news, Black Desert Mobile is absolutely killing it. The game is currently making over 3 times as much money as the PC version, with the mobile one making about $26 million a month, while the PC version makes about $8 million a month. It's actually scary just how much money the mobile version of the game is making versus the PC version. And the trend is also very much in favor of Black Desert Mobile. The PC version's revenues have also been dipping while the mobile game has been skyrocketing. The mobile version is set to launch in English globally sometime in 2019, so perhaps those numbers will go even higher, as Black Desert Online, the PC version, is already out pretty much everywhere in the world, and the mobile version is only out in South Korea and a few places in Asia right now. Next up, and perhaps the most bizarre news of the week, South Korea passed a law this last week making it a criminal offense to boost accounts. Yes, you heard that correctly. Boosting accounts in games like League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and Overwatch, for example, are now punishable by up to 2 years in prison and $18,000 in South Korea. For those unfamiliar with the concept of boosting, it's when a more skilled player logs in somebody else's account to artificially increase their rankings in-game. People do it for certain ranked rewards, or just to pretend they're actually better at the game than they actually are. Now, time will tell if this new law is actually effective or not, but South Korea is definitely taking serious hardline stance against this kind of behavior. Now, obviously, no one likes boosted players on their team, but perhaps criminalizing it and putting people in prison for it might be a bit too much, but it's definitely an interesting approach. Up next, some unfortunate news for Heroes of the Storm, which was Blizzard's attempt at competing with League of Legends and Dota 2. Blizzard announced this last week that they're canceling all esports events for the game in 2019, including both Heroes Global Championship and Heroes of the Storm. They're also moving some developers away from the game to work on other projects, which pretty much means they've given up on Heroes of the Storm. And while it's not scheduled to shut down or anything just yet, this is certainly the beginning of the end for Heroes of the Storm. But at least it'll remain running, just with less updates. And time will tell if the mobile industry is in permanent decline or not, as League of Legends also reported a 20% decrease in revenue. Battle Royale games have been on an absolute tear this year, and I'm sure that's taken away some users from MOBAs. But anyway, rest in pepperoni, Heroes of the Storm. Next up, World of Warcraft launched patch 8.1, also known as Tides of Vengeance, this last week, and introduced new content, including an expanded war campaign, new Darkshore waterfront, and more island expeditions. Not sure why they're doubling down on island expeditions, as I'm pretty sure no one actually liked them. Tides of Vengeance is actually rolling out these changes slowly, with the new war campaigns coming on December 18th, which is tomorrow. The new Battle for Drazalar raid, as well as Season 2 for Mythic Keystones, will all be launching sometime after that, so there's still a lot to look forward to with Battle for Azeroth. Up next, EverQuest previously announced Burning Lands expansion officially went live this last week, and it's the game's 25th expansion since launching in 1999. Burning Lands introduces a new luck stat, 6 new expansion zones, new raids, quests, spells, alternative advancements, and more. While EverQuest is free to play, you do need to buy the latest expansion to access the newest content. And despite the game's age, it's still fairly popular and does get updated regularly. Next up, in some more smaller, obscure MMORPG news, Rohan Blood Feud, also known as just Rohan Online, is launching its Beyond the Abyss expansion December 18th, which will add 3 new zones, new Abyss gear, 3 new world bosses, new monsters, and more. Now, Rohan Online originally launched back in 2008, so it's over 10 years old today, but it's still alive and still getting updated from Play With Interactive. Moving right along, that new 40,000 plus player sandbox pirate MMO Atlas from Studio Wildcard that we talked about last week was officially delayed until December 19th. It was supposed to launch last week, but got pushed back a week, so we'll be able to play it on the 19th. This one looks a lot like a New World, and I'm excited to give it a try. It is buy to play though, but it definitely looks ambitious, and I'm looking forward to playing it soon. Up next, Daybreak Games announced a brand new game this last week titled Planetside Arena, and it's set to launch on January 29th, 2019, and we buy to play. Though perhaps I shouldn't call it exactly a brand new game, because from the looks of it, they just took Planetside 2 and sliced it up into bite-sized different game modes. Perhaps the most interesting mode, though, is it'll have a Battle Royale mode that supports up to 500 players in a single match, with solos and teams of up to 3 supported. And besides that, expect all your standard game modes like Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag as well. Planetside Arena is available for pre-order right now for $19.99, and after that, it'll be launched for $29.99. The only thing here that really interests me is the 500-player Battle Royale mode. That does sound pretty intense because most Battle Royale games are 100 or less. Next, Guild Wars 2 announced that the next Living World episode, which is episode 5, will be launching sometime next year, and the game's Winter's Day celebration is in full swing. So while players eagerly awaiting episode 5 may be upset, At least there's a ton of Christmas-themed events and stuff to keep players busy until episode 5 drops. The Winter's Day celebration includes the new 10-player instance called Secret Lair of Snowmen, and there's a bunch of other holiday-themed decorations for guild halls and stuff for players to acquire. Now this is all fine, but it would have been nice if they announced a release date for the next episode so players can start looking forward to it and getting hyped. Up next, NovaQuark's crowdfunded MMO Dual Universe opened up its alpha testing to all backers. The game launched its Kickstarter back in 2016, and 2 years later, it's finally opening up to everyone. If you never heard of Dual Universe, it's aiming to be a sandbox game where players create the content within the game, so kind of like Second Life. I'm a bit skeptical about this one, though, because they're promising a ton of stuff, including combat systems, political systems, and an in-game economy, and a lot more, but all they have to show right now is their sandbox elements. Still, they're trying something different, and it's open to all backers to try now. Next up, we have an update from Inmass regarding Tera. As 2018 comes to a close, Tera unveiled their plans for early 2019, with update version 79 launching in January, which includes class and skill rebalancing, along with PvP changes. February has Lunar New Year and Valentine's Day events planned, but most importantly, the March update has version 80 launching, which increased the game's level cap from 65 to 70, as well as introducing a new open world boss system and a bunch of other goodies. There's a lot to look forward to with Tera in the coming months. Next up, we have another old game launching on Steam. It's WarRock, which was revived through Papaya Games earlier this year, is now launching on Steam sometime in December of 2018, sometime later this month. We don't know exactly when, but it'll be launching on Steam. Now, this is not exactly a new game. It's been around since 2007 in the US, and then 2005 in South Korea. It's a really old FPS game, and I think a lot of these free-to-play Korean shooters like Combat Arms, Black Squad, and whatnot will have a lot of trouble in the future because Counter-Strike Go went free-to-play, I think, last week. And one of the biggest selling points of all these free-to-play Korean shooters was that they were free-to-play, but now you have the big boy, CSGO free-to-play, so it'll be a lot harder for these other games to compete. The next and last bit of news this week comes from Blade & Soul Revolution, the spin-off Blade & Soul game that officially launched in South Korea this last week, and it's off to an amazing start. It's quickly took the #1 spot as the highest-grossing mobile game on iOS, and its developer Netmarble had to expand server capacity 4 times on launch date to accommodate the millions of users rushing to try it. Unlike most spin-offs, Blade & Soul Revolution at least claims it's trying to be a lot more like the PC version of the game, and along that vein, it'll have action combat, as well as a heavy emphasis on storytelling with over 150 cutscenes in-game. While this game only just launched in South Korea, an English version is planned for 2019, and I'm hoping it actually plays like the PC version, because I actually really like the PC version of Blade & Soul. Anyway, guys, that's it for MMO News this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later, guys.